Good evening, baseball fans. How are we doing? Hello, hello. Tonight, we're talking the Mets. Are they looking to add some more pitching? We have an update on Seiya Suzuki. We're going to talk a little Padres. Were they looking to maybe trade Chris Paddack at the trade deadline this past year? Let's get into it. And what is going on, baseball fans? Hello, hello, hello. Got a few people here in the chat. Gerard, what's going on? Kenny, hello. Foxian, hello. Jared, what is going on, my friend? Lethal Rage, hello, hello. Saint, what is going on? How are we doing? What's going on, everyone? Eric, hello. Good evening, my friend. How are you? Everyone, welcome. Just a quick stream tonight. There's a few things to talk about. A couple of reports from this past weekend. We're going to talk the Mets. We're going to talk the Padres. And I know we got the NFL on tonight. Can you believe the Cincinnati Bengals are going to the Super Bowl? Unbelievable. Being a Patriots fan my whole life, or at least as long as I can remember, man, we always just pummeled the Bengals every time. If we ever played them in the playoffs, it was always just an easy win. It's honestly very nice to see the Bengals finally get there. Man, so many good teams over the years, and they just always fell short. Joe Burrow, man, you got to love some Joe Burrow. So what is the score right now? I think it was, last time I checked, it was a pretty close game with the 49ers and Rams. Oh, we got a tie game with 2 minutes, so I'm probably not going live at a great time, but we'll keep track of that. We'll see who emerges as the Bengals' opponent for the Super Bowl. But last time I checked, this is a baseball channel, and we're going to talk a little baseball tonight. I'm not going to keep you long, just a couple of stories to talk about. And we'll be back here tomorrow night with something new as well. Everyone, before I do get started, hit that subscribe button for me. We're trying to get to 20K by opening day. Everyone, please hit that like button right now. Smash the heck out of that like button. Hit the bell notification so you get notified of all my streams and uploads. Also, share the content. Share anything on this channel if you can. So, let's get into it here. And actually, before I do get started, I wanted to share the results of, I put up a poll this morning. If you have not seen the poll, please go check out the poll right now. So looking to see what you guys are looking for content wise. It's obviously slow, it's lonely, it's cold. And actually, speaking of cold, here in Florida, I know we have the warm weather down here. It can be kind of nice, but I'm actually a cold weather man myself. I used to live in Massachusetts. I used to frolic around in the snow, go sledding, and whatever else in the snow. So Florida, I'm actually not a big fan of when it's too hot. This weekend, it got pretty nippy here. It was like in the 30s this morning when I woke up. I mean, for Florida, that's pretty chilly if you ask me. So, but yeah, man, couldn't believe that. Yesterday, it was in the 50s around noon yesterday. That's not, for a lot of people out there, wherever you may be living, I know there's a blizzard going on up north, but that's pretty chilly for Florida, just saying. Anyway, but let's get to this right quick. So I put up a poll earlier, and I gave you three choices. What do you want to see more of? The first choice, which it looks like it is running away as the winner. Player prospect positional rankings. I'm going to start doing my rankings for each position. Since it is a downtime, I was going to save it for later. But at this point, I might not have time to do it later, considering if this lockout, if it, ends, maybe let's say in the next month or so, you're going to be looking at pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training rather quickly, free agents coming off of the board. There might not be any time to really come up with my positional rankings. So I feel like that's probably a good time now, at least to get them started. So as of right now, as you can see here, 61% for the not just major league player positional rankings, but prospect positional rankings. I will use Tier Maker to guide my rankings there. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. So let's get to our first story here. Actually, I forgot to make my slides for tonight. Did I forget to make my slide? Yes, I did forget to make my slides. So we're just going to kind of dive into it here. I was out doing the Ubers earlier, and I completely forgot to make my slides. So let's get to the first story here. It looks like the Mets are not done looking to upgrade their rotation, which, in my opinion, that's a no-brainer. I think you need another guy here. I think you need to add someone into this rotation. Look, you can't go into a season with this. I'm sorry. I know Max Scherzer was an exciting signing. I get that. He's essentially replacing Marcus Stroman, who did give you valuable innings in that rotation for the Mets last year. And obviously with DeGrom, he had his issues last year with the injuries. This guy was phenomenal in 15 starts. We were looking at a historical season from Jacob DeGrom until he went down. And then Max Scherzer, listen, obviously Max Scherzer is a bulldog. This guy, he's going to go out there and give you everything he has every single start. But he's getting up there in age. To me, Max Scherzer is the modern day Randy Johnson, the modern day, Kurt Schilling, these older guys that are just workhorses. Max Scherzer, to me, is that kind of a guy. However, you always have to take note of it. Historically, these guys, when they start getting older in age, when are they going to start to wear down? So you got to keep an eye on that. He had a great season last year. So if he can put up these kind of numbers again for the Mets this year, obviously it's going to be very helpful. But Taijuan Walker, Carlos Carrasco, big question marks last year. Walker, bad second half last year. Carrasco really didn't have anything last year. Had a minor surgery this past offseason. So we're going to have to see how he is. Tyler McGill, he did show some flashes last year. There are some advanced numbers that kind of work in his favor. So could we maybe see Tyler McGill take a step forward? That would be a big boost for this Mets rotation. However, if you take a look here, righty. I feel like you could use a lefty here. You definitely could use some kind of a lefty. Well, if we're taking a look at the current free agents. Well, as you can see, Carlos Rodon is the top pitcher on the market. Lefty. I think Carlos Rodon, I think he could be a pretty nice fit. Sure. I mean, that was another guy where, that's the only thing I wonder with Carlos Rodon. You already got a lot of question marks health-wise in this rotation, the big one being Jacob DeGrom. Carlos Rodon had his question marks last year. Is this a guy that you want to invest money in? I don't know. I wonder if Steve Cohen would want to invest money into someone like Carlos Rodon, where you don't know really what he's going to give you health-wise. Then you do have someone like Clayton Kershaw who's here, but again, he's had his health issues. Surprisingly, I feel like someone like Tyler Anderson isn't completely out of the question. Tyler Anderson, this is a guy that can give you some innings. He'd be more of a back-end kind of a guy, but I would look out for maybe someone like that. He's definitely not going to cost you a lot. According to Fangraphs, they're thinking around $7 million per year. I could definitely see the Mets maybe doing something like that if other options don't pan out. Now, if we go take a look at maybe the Oakland A's. Well, the Oakland A's, they got a lot of chips as of right now. They're looking to unload, get rid of some salary. If you take a look here, you got some guys in this rotation where you could definitely maybe part with. Could you part with a Chris Bassett, a Sean Manaea, a Frankie Montas? Absolutely. I mean, could you even maybe part with someone like a Cole Irvin? I would imagine if you're the Mets, go after Sean Manaea. He's got 1 year left until free agency. See if you can, get him for something. Sean Manaea, I feel like, could be a pretty decent arm. And someone like Cole Irvin, I wonder with someone like him. Let's actually see here on the payroll. Cole Irvin, where are you at, my friend? Actually, I feel like maybe the A's would maybe want to hang on to him because he is still in his pre-arbitration years, so he's really not going to cost you anything. So I could definitely see the A's hanging on to him. But 28 years old, and if maybe the A's can get something good for him, if the right package is presented to you, why not? Why couldn't you do something like that? So to me, I feel like a guy that would make a lot of sense, would be Sean Manaea. I feel like that's a guy who had a really good year last year. Taking a look at the numbers that he put up last year, how many starts? 32 starts last year. He had a 3.66 FIP, almost 10 strikeouts per nine. He kept the walks down. Home runs per nine were fine. You know, I think Sean Manaea would be a really nice arm for you in that rotation. I think he is someone that could make a lot of sense. Another guy, who else did I write down here? I wrote, who was the other guy? Because I knew I was going to forget who that person was. Who was the other guy that I wrote down? Oh, why I lost the page. Oh, maybe someone like, maybe like Kyle Freeland. Maybe Kyle Freeland on the Rockies could be available. If we go take a look at Mr. Kyle Freeland. Hey, 28 years old still, going to be 29 soon. 23 starts last year. He did miss some starts. But overall, put up some okay numbers. Would the Rockies maybe be willing to part with someone like Kyle Freeland? I actually think probably not. I think the Rockies, I think there could be a surprise team this year. Look out for the Rockies. But that is someone that's there. Could that be a possibility? Maybe. Probably not. I would think the guy that makes the most sense trade-wise would be Sean Manaea. If we go put up a trade here on Baseball Trade Values, one of my favorite sites. If you haven't been on this website before, please go check it out right now. But let's put a trade together here. Let's put Sean Manaea on the Mets. Well, if you're taking a look at his value as of right now, Sean Manaea, you're looking at around $18.5 million worth of value. So, and I think this is a trade that the Mets could get done. I feel like the Mets, when it comes to someone like a Luis Castillo, he's going to be pretty high value because he has control. He's cheap. He's obviously very talented. I think that is going to be a guy. I think he might be a bit out of their price range, with the prospects that they have. I feel like other teams out there, someone like the Dodgers, where they have prospect depth. There are other teams out there that could get a trade, done for a Luis Castillo, definitely more than the Mets. If we go take a look at the board on Fangraphs, if we take a look, that's not what I'm looking for. Here we go. Farm rankings. Where are we at? Ah, come on. You're killing me here. Where is it? I don't know why it pops up here. I don't know what I'm doing differently here. But if we take a look at the farm systems here, like Luis Castillo, a team like the Yankees, the Giants, even the Diamondbacks would be more fit, to get someone like Castillo. Whereas the Mets, they have the 15th ranked farm system as of right now. I don't think they're very. I mean, could they get something done? Sure, but I feel like right now the Mets, they're in the middle when it comes to farm systems. I don't think Luis Castillo is really a guy that you're going to be able to afford. But if we are taking a look at what they have as of right now, so let's pull up the Mets. With the Mets, pitching wise, well, let's just go to the prospects. You got Alvarez as your number one, Brett Beatty, Mauricio, Matt Allen, Mark Vientos. The trend lately when it comes to trades, a lot of teams, they want to hang on to their top prospects. I feel like maybe they would be willing to part with a Mark Vientos. I think that might be the highest they would go. Even JT Ginn, I wonder, but they seem to really like him. I wonder if they even give up someone like him. But if we take a look, so if we're looking at someone like I said, Vientos, right now, $15.4 million. This could be a piece where, you're really making up a lot of value right there. But the A's, in past trades, sometimes they like to go quantity over quality, whereas they like to try and get more pieces as much as they can. Maybe instead of someone like Mark Vientos, maybe you can go someone like Jalen Palmer. So Palmer, let's put him here. So you're looking at $2.4 million. Maybe we keep going down the list here. You got someone like Junior Santos. Why not? Even like someone like Alex Ramirez. So $7.6 million, that could do something. And then maybe you can do a couple more, like maybe one more prospect here. So let's actually go. So you're looking at what? Around $8 million of value. So I don't know. Or maybe you can just do two lesser prospects. I feel like with Sean Manaea, I feel like with him, I don't know. I don't see like a 4-for-1 for him, but I think you can definitely get something done if you're the Mets. They seem like a really good fit for someone like Sean Manaea, I personally believe. But so again, according to Andy Martino of SNY TV, they are looking to add another starting pitcher, whether that's free agency or with trade. It says here Where did he point that out? Martino specifies that the Mets will absolutely be willing to go the trade route to make that pickup. So, again, I definitely think Sean Manaea, that is a guy who I think is a really good pickup for the Mets. So, we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. Let's talk a little Seiya Suzuki, shall we? So, there was a report last week, according to Yahoo Sports out of Japan, that the Red Sox were looking very likely to get a deal done for Seiya Suzuki. It was looking like they were the front runners, according to that report out of Japan on Yahoo Sports. However, Peter Abraham of the Boston Globe, he is hearing that within the industry, the Giants and the Mariners are seen as the leading contenders to land the outfielder. I actually did a video. On what teams I think are the best fits for Seiya Suzuki. Go check that out if you haven't already. Spoiler alert, I have the Giants at number 1. I think the San Francisco Giants are absolutely the best fit for Seiya Suzuki. I personally think so. They really could use a bat, a right-handed bat. He just makes so much sense for the San Francisco Giants. You lost Chris Bryant. You lost Buster Posey. You need a righty bat. I think Seiya Suzuki, that's a guy, and he also kind of seems to fit where the Giants like to spend. The Giants don't like to give out these big contracts. Perfect example, Kevin Gausman. They let Kevin Gausman go, and because they don't ever like to give out these big contracts. If we actually go to their payroll right now, their biggest contract as of right now is Brandon Belt. He's making $18.4 million. The Giants don't like to give out that kind of money. With Seiya Suzuki, if we go take a look here at where did the free agent tracker go? So Seiya Suzuki, if we go, here we go. So Suzuki, where are we here? Let's go unsigned. Where are you, Seiya Suzuki? Got to do a little Control F here. Why is my Control F not working? Okay, my Control F is not working. Where is Seiya Suzuki? What are they thinking he is going to get? Is he on here? I feel like he should be. Why am I not seeing Seiya Suzuki? Anyway, Seiya Suzuki, it's looking like probably you're going to be looking around maybe 4 or 5 years, 40 to 60 million. Because don't forget, you also have the posting fee as well that you will have to pay to the Carp over in Japan. So again, I personally think that Seiya Suzuki, he makes the most sense for the San Francisco Giants. They need another bat. Lamont Wade Jr., he performed well, in a part-time role last year, coming off of the bench in pinch hit situations. I think Seiya Suzuki, put him in left field. You got Yastrzemski out and right. You got Duggar in center field. I always forget how to pronounce this. It's not Dugar. I knew I pronounced that wrong the other day in my video. I think it's Duggar. Steven Duggar. I'm sorry to Giants fans. I mispronounced that one the other day. But to me, Suzuki, he fits perfectly in this Giants lineup. Why not take a chance on him? It's on the West Coast. I think it just makes so much sense. Now, for the Seattle Mariners, yeah, he could fit. But, when you really look at their team, yes, as of right now on paper, if you're looking at Jake Fraley's numbers, Suzuki looks like the more sexy pick. Suzuki's numbers in Japan, they were very good. All around, really good numbers. Actually, let me pull up his numbers. It's not going to matter too much because obviously he's coming from a different league. And obviously, lesser talent. But, in the league that he was in, where he was in, what do you call it again? In the Nippon Professional League, there's some good players over there, and he did perform very well. Hit 317, a 433 on base, 38 homers, 88 RBIs. This guy can bang. So I feel like his numbers will translate pretty well. I could definitely see 20, 25 home runs, maybe like hits maybe anywhere from 270 to maybe like 280, something like that. I think that'd be a nice bat for the Giants. But for the Mariners, that would be at least if those numbers did translate, the all-around numbers would look better than Jake Fraley. But Jake Fraley, you have to remember last year, he started the year injured. He came back. He was performing pretty well, and then he got COVID, and then he just never got back on track after that. So I feel like Jake Fraley, let's give this guy a chance in Seattle, I think. But then again, if Suzuki's there, and if you're in a position to add talent, you add talent. If you can add talent, you do it. You never know, what's going to happen with Kyle Lewis with his health. Jared Kelenic. I feel like Jared Kelenick's going to be fine. I know he obviously didn't put up great numbers last year, but Jared Kelenic had 14 home runs last year. That's not really something to sniff at. And don't forget, you have Mitch Haniger and Wright. I feel like Haniger is going to be pretty set in stone there. And also don't forget about Julio Rodriguez. Could he emerge next year as an option for the Seattle Mariners? So the spot that I feel like if you were to bring Suzuki to Seattle, I feel like Fraley would be the odd man out. But don't forget, hey, things can work themselves out, injuries, whatever else. So I think Suzuki, either the Mariners or the Giants, I think would be a great fit. I would say the Giants would be a better fit because they have more of a need, at least. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with Seiya Suzuki. The other day, when I was talking about those articles where it talked about the Red Sox were looking like the front runners for Seiya Suzuki. Yeah, and again, these were reports prior to the lockout. So it's not right now. Obviously, in the lockout, we can't really have anything going on right now. So those are reports going back to before the lockout. But in another article in Nikon Sports, they've been around for quite a bit in Japan, so they seem like a pretty reputable source. But they were actually saying the Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays were not as good of a contender because spring training is in Florida on the East Coast, where it's looking like maybe Seiya Suzuki is favoring more of the West Coast, especially like with spring training and whatnot. So you are looking at teams like the Giants, the Mariners. I think the Padres, you shouldn't count them out. I would also consider the Rangers as well. The Rangers, I think, definitely could use another bat in that lineup. Why not take a chance on someone like Suzuki? You've added a couple of good bats in Semien as well as Seager. Why not Suzuki? I mean, I think that would be a really nice fit. You could definitely use another bat in that lineup. So, when you got two big bats like Semien and Seager there, Suzuki, maybe not as much pressure on him in that lineup. I think that could be a nice fit for him. So, wouldn't count the Red Sox out because they definitely could use a righty bat. The other day I talked about the Red Sox as a fit for Suzuki. I did say that he would be like a good platoon piece. To be more clear on that, I think if the Red Sox were to add Suzuki, I think he would be more. He definitely would be the starter. Like he wouldn't be a platoon guy. Essentially, I was just saying more because Jackie Bradley Jr. is obviously a left-handed bat. You'd have that. You have a lefty option on the bench, while Suzuki is a righty bat. That's kind of more what I meant. Suzuki would definitely be the starter for the Red Sox, I believe. Of course, you shouldn't count out, teams like the Yankees or Blue Jays, but I think ultimately, if I were to make a prediction, if I were to make a prediction right now, I think he signs with the Giants. But my predictions are always wrong, so take that with a grain of salt. That's just what I think, though. Based off of what I'm looking at, if I'm looking at the team, where did it go? If I'm looking at the Giants right now, that team where the heck are the Giants? What just happened to the San Francisco Giants? I am losing my mind. What the heck happened to the Giants? Here we go. If I'm looking at the Giants, they really could use a bat. It just seems like they're, with Posey gone, with Bryant gone, this lineup isn't looking. I mean, sure, you have some bats here, but it feels like you need something here. And this team, to me, the Giants, let's get Suzuki in a Giants uniform. I think that's going to be the best option overall. Last story. Again, I don't have my slides tonight. I feel, I hate not having my slides. I like the slides. Never again will I forget to do those. But here we go. The Padres, going back to the trade deadline this past year, the Padres discussed Chris Paddack as part of a trade deadline trade with the Nationals. Very interesting. Taking a look here. Before the Dodgers acquired Max Scherzer and Trey Turner from the Nationals at the deadline, the Padres were known to also be in the hunt for both players. Remember, there was a report that broke that Scherzer, it was almost a done deal to go to the Padres, and then all of a sudden it didn't happen. Remember, we went live. We went live for that, and we were sitting here waiting for some kind of a confirmation, and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, Max Scherzer and Trey Turner were going to the Dodgers. So, man, oh man, that was just wackadoodle. But going further down this article here, top catching prospect Luis Campusano was discussed. Oh, we got a super chat. JM, what is going on, my friend? So happy I discovered this channel. Hey, JM, I'm happy you're here, my friend. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate you, my friend. Hey, welcome to the channel, man. I'm glad you're enjoying the content here. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Oh, what's going on with that game, by the way? Oh, the Rams. The Rams win. Did they get a last-second field goal? It looks like maybe they got a field goal, I think. Sorry, I haven't been watching the game. It looks like they won on a field goal, I'm guessing, because it was tied. So, was it a last-second field goal? Rams. What is going on? So it looks like, yeah, it was a field goal to win the game. Or the Niners threw a pick. I can't really look at it too much right now. I gotta get into this. But hey, what a Super Bowl, huh? Bengals and the Rams. No surprise to see the Rams, because I remember, going into this year, oh boy, that Rams team was looking really good, and they got Stafford, man. Kupp has been having just an amazing year. I mean, no surprise to see the Rams there. If I had to make it early, I got to go Rams. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to count against the Bengals. Everyone's been counting against them this entire time. But, man, I feel like this Rams team, they're coming together at the last second, It just seems like they're really, really putting it all together when it counts. So, that's my pick. I'm going Rams. So, here we go. So going back to this trade, or at least back to the deadline. So it says here, top catching prospect Luis Campusano was discussed as part of the Padres negotiations with Washington. The Athletic's Dennis Lin reports that the Padres also dangled Chris Paddack. Wow. Oh, Michael Yanks. I remember this. I was happy. Thanks to Twitter, I was angry. Michael Yanks, man. That was a brutal time, man. That was a brutal time. Brutal time. But this is really interesting. Luis Campusano, because remember, so it looks like Paddack would have been the guy that would have gone back to the Nationals. That really is very interesting. If we were to go, I don't know if we can. Well, I don't even remember what Scherzer's value was at the time, but I guess a package of Paddack and Campusano for Scherzer, I mean, it's not bad. I think Campusano, if I'm thinking right now, if I go to the Nationals, the Padres, Campusano's value is 22.2, and Paddack is 17.4. That's 39 points. There's no way that Scherzer, I believe, was in like the 20 millions or something. I don't know. That seems a little too much. If you were giving up Campusano and Paddack for Scherzer, I don't know. I wonder how valid that is. Were they together? I don't think these two were together in a package. I wouldn't give up that much, personally. Going back to the trade deadline this past year, I wouldn't give up Campusano and Paddack for Scherzer for a half season of Scherzer. I wouldn't do that. I would think it was probably either or. Personally, I don't think they were together. Could you have done Campusano? for let me get rid of Mania here. Could you have done Campusano? Again, I'm not sorry, everyone. I'm not doing a Padres A's trade. I'm just looking at the values of these guys. Disregard where it says athletics. Yeah, these two guys together, I think that would have been an overpay. Oh, we got a super chat. Michael Yanks again. And then we missed out on the playoffs. Michael Yanks. It was a brutal year for the Padres. It was a brutal year. Brutal year. Tyler, the Mets haven't added anyone. So earlier I was looking at this report from Andy Martino of SNY TV. The report is that the Mets are definitely looking to add pitching once the lockout is over. So go rewind. I just talked about that maybe like 10 minutes ago. So I just talked about that a little earlier. But this is very interesting that the Padres were talking Chris Paddack. Could the Padres still trade Chris Paddack? Now that's kind of, moving on now. Again, I don't think Campusano and Paddack would have been a good deal for the Padres, getting a half season of Scherzer. Either or, though, I definitely think that's an option. Could the Padres still trade Paddack? Well, if we're taking a look, where is Paddack? Is he on the... Where's Paddack? Oh, okay. So they have him listed at AAA. Interesting. So last year, Paddack, actually, so back in September, he received an injection in his right elbow. Should make a full recovery from a slight UCL sprain. So it looks like he's going to be fine for opening day. But Paddack, last year, I want everyone to take note of something with Paddack. Sure, the ERA did not look very good. It did not. However, his FIP was a lot better at 3.78. If we take a look, the strikeouts per 9, 8 strikeouts per 9. Sure, they were down from that 2019 season, but hey, the walks were still down. He had a career low in home runs allowed, 1.25. So I think Paddack is still a guy. He just needs to put it all together. He had a good rookie season. Another super chat. Michael Yanks. We got Clev back. So yes, trade Paddack. If we're looking at the Padres right now, I personally think, in my personal opinion, I'm not trading anyone. I'm keeping my starting pitching. You know why? Because that starting pitching completely ran out of depth at the end. I don't know what Mike Clevinger is going to give you. I don't know. With Mike Clevinger, he's coming back from Tommy John. Hopefully he's going to be, good for a full season. I personally, that would be amazing. I feel like Clevinger, he's always dealt with some kind of an injury, missing time with Tommy John. He had something going on with his knee a couple of years ago or a few years ago. So Clevinger, I wonder, can this guy stay durable? Blake Snell had his up and downs. Yu Darvish, he didn't give you a lot of innings last year. Baseball sports talk, what's going on? Can you please do a Phillies deal? Hey, okay, let's go take a look. I'll look at that in 1 second. I'm just about done with this Padres story. I'll go over there in 1 second. But I think, honestly, with the Padres, man, I'm keeping this depth, man. You brought in Nick Martinez. He did well in Japan. How is he going to do over here? Their starting pitching is a question mark. Musgrove was good, but he's had durability issues in the past. What's he going to be like? To me, I'm keeping as much starting pitching. You're also going to get Adrian Morejon back. So eventually, at some point, probably you're going to get him around the All-Star break. I don't know, man. I'm thinking you got to keep this starting pitching together. I wouldn't get rid of Paddack. I would not. I'm sorry. I would not trade him, especially with how that FIP looked. 3.78. That was lower than what it was in 2019 when he put up overall really good numbers. So Chris Paddack, I'm not getting rid of him, man. Unless, even then. But if you look at his value here of 17.4, let's say you wanted to try and unload Eric Hosmer's contract. Hosmer has a negative 50.7. I mean, come on now. Like, come on, you're gonna go Campusano and Paddack to get rid of Hosmer, and even then, you're still underwater on his contract. So I don't see it, man. I think Paddack is worth hanging on to. You know, this is a guy that's under control now for how many more years? You got Paddack for 3 more seasons, right? Paddack, yeah, he's going to be making 2.1 in 2022, and you got 2 more years of arbitration for him. Honestly, I think it's better if you can keep Paddack right now for this season, and if he does well, his value is going to go through the roof, and you'd be able to get more for him. As of right now, he's only worth $17.4 million according to baseball trade values. I think you hang on to him. Personally, I think it's worth it. It'll keep your starting pitching deeper. And if he ends up doing well and you want to trade him later on, then yeah, I mean, you'll get more for him at that point. He needs to, I think, put together a full season showing he's healthy and showing he is effective. So if it were me, if I am the Padres, I'm not trading Chris Paddack. That's what I personally think. Keep your depth. And hey, I think the Padres, I think they're going to be pretty good this coming year. So be on the lookout for the Padres this coming year. So here we go. So before I do get out of here, baseball sports talk, you asked if I could do a trade with the Phillies. Well, what could the Phillies use? If I'm taking a look at the Phillies, let's take a look at the Phillies. Well, as of right now, the big question mark with the Phillies is shortstop. You know, Didi Gregorius. You know, that he's a big question mark right now. I think that could be an area where you could address. Who do you bring in? I don't know. But, I mean, hey, you know, when it comes to shortstops, I'm a big fan of Bryson Stott. Why not give this guy a chance? You know, he's your number 2 prospect according to Fangraphs in your system. I think Bryson Stott, let's see what this guy can do. I would like to see what the Phillies could do. So I think for the Phillies, get another bullpen guy. You know, I actually do like this starting rotation. Their starting rotation was really good last year. You know, Wheeler balled out. Aaron Nola, I mean, had a 4.63 ERA, but the FIP was better. So Ranger Suarez, this is a guy. Did anyone realize what Ranger Suarez did last year? This guy was phenomenal. So whatever he ends up being in 2022, I keep this guy in the rotation. Kyle Gibson, don't forget, you traded for him. So he was pretty solid overall last year. Hans Kraus, this is a young starting pitching prospect. I'm excited to see what he can do. So I think with the starting rotation, you don't need to add anything. I think for the lineup, I personally would go with Bryson Stott at short. I don't know. He looked pretty good in Arizona fall ball. I think that would be good. And then you could maybe use an outfielder. I mean, you got Mickey Moniak in center field. You know, you got Adam Hazley in left. I think Kyle Schwarber makes the most sense for the Phillies. A lefty bat. He's a guy that gets on base. Put him in, you know, the 1 or the 2 spot in the lineup. I think Kyle Schwarber is fantastic. Now, I think personally, go after a bullpen guy. You know, I don't know if the Brewers are going to give up Hader at this point. I just don't see it. I feel like they would have already traded him by now. So, and the Brewers, they're looking to compete. They feel like their team is better with Josh Hader. So, I think personally, a bullpen guy would be a really good option here. How about Chris Bryant to my Padres? Chris Bryant, why not? I think Chris Bryant fits on a lot of teams because of his versatility. He can play really anywhere. I personally think the Mariners would be a really good fit for him. That way, you know, hey, the Mariners, they have a bit of a log jam a little bit. They got a lot of position players there that are going to be vying for playoff or for playing time. I think Chris Bryant makes a lot of sense for the Mariners, but Chris Bryant would make some sense for the Padres as well. You know, they could use another bat in that lineup. I'll go back to the Phillies here in 1 second as baseball sports talk, but the Phillies, they could use a righty bat to go with someone like Tatis, Cronenworth, and Machado. A righty bat would be nice. Now, Chris Bryant, I would imagine you put him in left. That would seem to be his home with Machado at third. So you got Nomar Mazara out in left. That's why I thought Seiya Suzuki would be a nice fit for the Padres because, well, you can just put Suzuki out in left. So Bryant would be nice too. So he wouldn't be able to really play third. I mean, he could play third when Machado had a day off. You know, he can move around in the outfield. maybe play a little first base, but, yeah, sure. Chris Bryant, he could definitely fit on the Padres. He fits on a lot of teams just because he can move around. So let's go back to the Phillies. Now, the one trade I keep thinking of, or the one trade candidate I keep thinking of Craig Kimbrell, honestly. I know Kimbrell, he can kind of scare the crap out of you. Trust me, 2018, that playoff run, that World Series run for the Red Sox, that guy in the playoffs almost gave me a heart attack every time he came out. I wanted to just die every time he came out because I don't know. He just didn't have it. I don't know what it was. But Kimbrell, I think, could maybe bring something to this bullpen. Dave Dombrowski obviously has the connection with him, trading for him from the Padres to the Red Sox. So I think Kimbrell, he wouldn't cost you a lot, and I think you have the prospects to get it done. So I think Kimbrell could be a pretty nice option. My friend, my best friend, he's actually a big Yankee fan. He has told me he would love to have Didi Gregorius back. Could you maybe do a trade with Didi Gregorius? The Yankees could use a shortstop. Gregorius, I think, fits with the Yankees. They could use a lefty bat. They could use a shortstop. Let's have Gregorius go back to the Yankees. Let's do the Yankees over here. Let's do Phillies here. So, could the Yankees maybe swap a bullpen arm for Gregorius? He's probably not going to cost you anything. Let's see. What is Gregorius even going to cost you? -9. So, at this point, I mean, could you do a trade where, I don't know, like where maybe what is the payroll for the Phillies? Or what is he going to be making here? So Gregorius, he's going to be making $15.2 million. Could you just pay his value and then just, I don't know, pay like $10 million? The Phillies can just, get over water on his contract, and just maybe the Yankees can just send back a whatever prospect. I don't know. Yankees. Maybe someone in the 25 through 30 range. I don't know. Maybe whatever. Let's see. Maybe Cooper Bowman. Someone like that. I don't know. Maybe who's another infielder? Let's do that. Cooper Bowman. Oh, look at that. Why not do this? Let's just, here, just pay his value. And there you go. -9 million, do $9 million of cash, and then send back Bowman, your number 29 prospect. How does that look? So I don't think Gregorius is going to be, he's not going to help you defensively too much with the Yankees. I think they really need to start doing something with that defense. But Gregorius, he's not like a slouch out there. He's going to get it done. I mean, if you look at his overall defense from year to year, it has been declining in the last few years, but Gregorius is going to get it done out there. He's not going to make like amazing plays, but he'll get the routine play done. And I think that's what, the Yankees need. Gleyber Torres, this is a guy where he kind of was struggling with routine plays. Gregorius, that's a veteran guy. I think for the Yankees, he's a fan favorite. I think Gregorius makes sense going back to the Yankees. Why not? The Phillies can just pay his $9 million of his contract this year. Send back a prospect in return, and there you go. I think Craig Kimbrell would make some sense for the Phillies. So, yeah. But everyone, that is all I have for tonight. Not a long stream tonight. Just wanted to come on, talk a couple of stories. The Mets looking to add some more starting pitching according to Andy Martino. We have Seiya Suzuki. It looks like he is down to 2 teams, looking like the Giants and the Mariners, according to Peter Abraham of the Boston Globe. And, hey, pretty interesting. The Padres were dangling Chris Paddack in trade talks at the trade deadline. Could they still maybe look for a trade with Chris Paddack. Personally, I wouldn't do it. So, everyone, I want to say thank you for coming by on this Sunday evening. We have our Super Bowl matchup set. We have the Bengals and the Rams. And, hey, I'm pulling for the Bengals. I'm pulling for Joe Burrow. Can this guy win a national championship and then, 3-4 years later, he wins a Super Bowl? Hey, I'm all about it. Let's do it. Everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I will be back tomorrow night with something, whether if it's live or an upload. You know me. I like to go live. So if there's anything to talk about tomorrow night, we will. Everyone, before I do get out of here, please hit that like button. Please, everyone, take your finger, whatever it is, your mouse, and hit that like button. Everyone, the subscribe button. Hey, if you're looking for more baseball content, looking for more baseball news out on the YouTube world, consider subscribing. Hey, we're trying to get to 20K by opening day. Everyone, hit the bell notifications so you get notified of all my streams and uploads. And hey, share the content on the channel. Everyone, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you for stopping by tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Have yourself a good night, and I'll talk to you next time.